Welcome everybody to our Yin Yoga Practice, Full Body Release. My name is Eleni and I will be guiding you today. Let's go ahead and grab 2 blocks if we have them, and we'll start onto our backs. So inching the body over to the right side to prepare for our banana pose. Start to walk your left heel to the left corner of the mat, followed by the right, and you're welcome to cross that right ankle over the left. From here, we'll start to drape the left shoulder down towards that left ankle, keeping our shoulder blades rooted to the earth so the whole back body is grounded. Now, perhaps we bring that left palm to the belly and the right arm starts to float overhead. So here you'll notice the body is in a deep C curve or a banana shape. And we just want to make sure that the whole back body is supported, including the back of the head. So notice if your right hip is lifting off the earth, and we may need to come out of that deep curve a little bit more just to make sure that the hips are rooted. So from this space, you can start to tune into breath. If the hand is resting on the belly, you might feel that rise and fall of the belly. And if it feels good, you might start to take full body breaths, full torso breaths, breathing deep into the base of the belly on the inhale, feeling your breath rise up into the chest, collarbone, and then as we exhale, we soften the chest, the rib cage, and the belly. So just begin to allow the breath to flow, its natural rhythm here. Feeling that expansion through the right side of the body, the right rib cage. And if you would like to deepen here just a little bit, left arm might come up and overhead, and you might clasp your left hand around your right wrist. If this is not comfortable for the shoulders, feel free to release the arms or both arms beside the body. So perhaps allowing an intention to arrive. This can be something that we need or would like to cultivate for ourselves. This can also be us sending the energy out to someone or something. So just noticing what comes. Without reaching or grasping. Nice deep breaths here. Let's offer about another full minute, 8 to 10 deep breaths. Just notice here if you can energetically come a little bit deeper. Doesn't necessarily mean that we have to move the physical body. But notice if there's any type of release, physically, energetically, mentally, where there's just a little less tension or a little less grasping. Let's slowly begin to release. First, we'll release the arms and then unwind the legs here so all the joints are stacked hips directly below the shoulders. Take a full rest here and just observe. So we observe the space created on the right side, how the right side feels different than the left. So let's prepare to come to the other side. We'll start to inch the body to the left. Bring that right heel to the right corner, followed by the left. Cross it over if you'd like to. Start to rest that right palm on the belly, and the left arm might reach up and overhead, allowing the back of the head to soften to the earth. Remembering we want to keep the back body rooted. So hips and shoulder blades connected to the earth. Feeling the rise and fall, the ebb and flow of the breath as we breathe in and out. Start to settle in here and maybe notice any differences that we're experiencing on the left side versus the right. Beginning to settle in here to our banana pose. So there's an option here if you'd like to take that expression with the right palm clasping the left wrist. Feel free to go ahead and find that variation. And we're taking a little bit of longer holds today. So noticing what's coming up. Mentally, physically. It may be that we are able to move into that meditative state more readily, or it may be one of those days that the mind is busy and the mind is going over to-do lists. So wherever we are, we just work with where we are, meeting ourselves in that space without judgment, and knowing that we can always tell these busy thoughts that we thank them, but right now this is a space for relaxation, for present awareness with physical body, and perhaps just placing those thoughts on a shelf, knowing that if you need to, you can come back to them later. Give just our last 2 breaths here. And then let's slowly begin to release. The arms float beside the body, the legs unwind, we stack the joints, making sure the spine is long. Let's take rest here, finding a mini Shavasana. We observe and notice the rebound effects, how the body responds after holding a posture for this amount of time. So let's begin to hug the knees to the chest. Little rocking here, right to left. We'll make our way onto our belly, so you might extend one arm overhead and just roll over onto the belly. So here we'll do a pose called grasshopper, but we'll take this variation on our belly using our blocks. So we'll bring both forearms to each block. Palms will come together as we drape the forehead towards the earth, bring the thumb to the base of the neck. So this is a wonderful variation, especially if we do grasshopper on the knees. If we don't feel comfortable taking postures where there's body weight on the knees, you can always do variations on the belly and the back. So this is a great alternative for that traditional grasshopper. So nice deep breaths here, breathing into that upper arm, the shoulder. And perhaps the forehead is resting on the earth. So you may feel that support here. If this is too intense for your shoulders, know that you can do this pose without the blocks as well. So feeling the body connected here, supported by gravity. One beautiful thing about taking these static postures is that we can really sense and move into them and just notice how body responds. Often if we're moving more quickly, it will take a little bit longer to process just because things are moving at a different pace. So when we slow down, we give the body space to understand and process. We can really feel what's comfortable in the pose. Am I feeling discomfort? Is it a mental discomfort? Physical discomfort? And knowing that our postures are not always the most cozy and comfortable in a yin practice, they're actually very challenging. However, we find our personal edge that works for us in that moment, in this day. And we don't need to push beyond, but find that very sacred space between effort and ease. We call it the middle road. Beautiful. We have just a few more breaths here. Start to release the arms. We'll lift the head and press or push the blocks away. Wrapping the arms beside the body, we'll rest the head on one side. Go ahead and switch sides so your opposite cheek is resting now, so we're even on both sides of the neck. So our next pose, we're actually going to move from Sphinx into our thread the needle. So here you might also use a block or a pillow. So we'll take that left arm and thread it underneath the right. And here you can see I'm playing with going between the block, or I'm resting on that right forearm. So those are options. You want to make sure the head is supported, it's not hanging in the air, and then that the neck is comfortable. And once again, we stay grounded here on the belly. So just notice how there's a different texture to these postures when we're grounded on the belly. Can sometimes feel very nurturing, very soothing for the nervous system to be connected belly to earth. And so here, sensing where you feel the stretch, the sensation for this pose. Most likely we'll be feeling the stretch through the upper left arm. A little bit of opening through the left shoulder. So breathing, observing, releasing. The work is being done just by showing up, holding space for yourself in your practice. Let's give a couple more breaths here. And we start to release. Press that right palm down towards the face. Release the arms beside you, and you might roll the shoulders up, down, and back. Take a moment to pause. If that feels good for you, you can also sit back on the knees and roll the shoulders. You can rest the right cheek on the mat. And we prepare for the other side, coming back through Sphinx, taking that right arm, threading it underneath the left, resting the right side of the face, either on a block, a pillow, or the left forearm. Making sure that we're fully supported here through the neck. And then once again, softening here, finding that perfect space between effort and ease. Long and slow breaths. Noticing quality of mind in this moment. Can we relax just a little bit deeper? Beautiful. We'll take a couple more breaths here. And slowly we release, unthreading the right arm. Let's come back onto the belly, arms beside the body, rolling the shoulders up, down, and back if that feels good. You can also rest in stillness, bringing the left cheek to the mat this time. From here, palms come underneath the shoulders. We'll shift the hips back, child's pose. Big toes touch, knees can come wide. You can start to reach the arms forward and rest the forearms on the mat. Might feel nice to wrap the arms beside the legs too, if that feels good. Let's give about 3 more deep breaths here. So if the arms are beside the legs, you might feel that gentle compression here of the belly. So just try to take your nice deep breaths through the back body. We'll start to lift here. Let's bring our legs forward. I'll invite you to grab a blanket if you have one. If not, it's fine as well. You can also use a beach towel. I just like to use A little bit of elevation for the hips. It's just a nice safety measure for our low back. You can also roll up the back of your mat so you have that slight elevation. Either way, let's make sure that our pelvis is tilting forward slightly and that we're not rounding into the low back. Might feel nice to use blocks here underneath the forearms. And we want to breathe deeply into that inner thigh area. So now we're moving our focus to the lower body. But also we get a nice stretch through the back body, through the spine, if we fold forward. So trying to find a space here where you can relax and let the body surrender. If the legs are too wide and they start to shake, we might bring the legs a little bit closer. If we are having low back rounding here, you might also slide 2 blocks underneath the knees. So that's another option. Wherever you land, just start to breathe. Where can we bring our breath? Can we focus our breath towards the inner thigh area, the groin, the hamstrings? Or perhaps it's nice to visualize the breath moving up and down the back body, creating space and openness. Let's give it another full minute here. When you're ready, we'll start to lift. Take it slow. Bending the knees, taking big windshield wiper here, right to left. Maybe adding that gentle twist here, bringing the top arm up and over and across. Excellent. Let's make our way into our heart bench pose next. Using both of our blocks, we'll take our first block to the lowest level, second block to the highest. So here we start to come down and we'll line up our lowest edge of our shoulder blade with the lowest edge of that first block, and the second block will support the base of the neck and the head. The base of the head, not the neck. So here we have that very gentle lift through the chest, the heart, and the upper body. And you may notice where the legs would like to land. Do we want the feet together and the knees wide, taking that gentle butterfly posture for the hips? You can also keep your legs extended out, heels to each corner, or even bend the knees if that feels best for the back. So landing in this posture where it feels right for you, allowing the palms to face up. And if you'd like to deepen at any point, there's an option to start to reach the arms up and overhead. You might clasp the fingers together. Breathing deeply through the front side of the body, breathing into the belly, the rib cage, all the way to the chest. Offering about another minute here. Beautiful. If the arms are overhead, start to sweep them beside the body. We'll bend the knees and bring the feet flat. You can gently use your forearms and palms to press the upper body so we come into a fold. So from here, try to hinge from the hips and fold forward, bending the knees here slightly, bringing the belly to the thigh. Relax the chin towards the chest. Just moving the spine in the opposite direction, we'll begin to release, moving our props out of our way. We scooch forward and come all the way down onto the earth, hugging the knees to the chest. Let's prepare for our twist, letting the knees fall to the right side, reaching out with the left arm. I sometimes like to bend into that goalpost or cactus arm, but you can also extend it out so it's moving away from the shoulder, palm facing up. Allow the shoulder blades to be as close to the earth as possible, and then notice the back of the head. And if the gaze wants to fall to the right, feel free to do that. Gently allow the knees to come back through the center, little hug, little rock here. We'll shift the hips over to the right, let the knees fall to the left. Same thing here, right arm can come to that goalpost shape, or you can extend it out, palm facing up. Nice deep breaths here as we start to wind down. Nice deep breath in. We'll bring the knees back through the center, taking happy baby pose, grabbing outer edges of the feet, ankles or shins, whatever feels good to keep the spine nice and long. Back of the head soft, shoulder blades rooted towards the earth. Slowly begin to release, taking any final movements here. I'll invite you to grab a blanket if you'd like to. It's just an option to explore. You can also take blocks underneath the knees to support the low back, even a bolster or a pillow. And then just feel the body soften into our master pose, Shavasana. So letting everything go, slowly releasing, softening into the earth, feeling your natural rhythm of breath take you deeper into relaxation. Slowly reawakening the physical body, wiggling the toes and the fingers, the ankles and the wrist. We might reach the arms up and overhead and point the toes forward, and then draw the knees into the chest. Start to rock onto one side of the body and pause here for a moment. We'll gently press up through seated, taking our time. Reaching the arms up and overhead, scooping in all of our light and our beautiful energy and bringing it into the heart space. Thank you so much for joining me today. Wishing you peace, love, and light. Namaste. Please subscribe and like if you're enjoying this content. And I do work with a sister channel called Mindful Metta. It will be listed in the link below if you like guided meditations or gentle yin music. Thanks so much.